Now, remember the film Nightmare on Elm Street? Teenagers terrorised in their dreams by the ghost Freddy Krueger. Now, this classic movie resulted in so many kids around the world being afraid to go to sleep for fear of bad dreams. Have a look.
Are you okay?
Yeah, just a little dream, that's all. I'm going right back to sleep.
Okay. Call me if you need anything, okay?
Okay.
Oh, yeah,
that's the scariest movie in the world.
I agree with you. Nightmare on Elm Street, and when's Freddy or the Monster, Scary Stories, whatever. Nightmares, night terrors, boy, does it affect a family. So with advice this morning, how to beat it, child psychologist Kimberley O'Brien joins us, along with father of three, and with some kids who also suffered, Jamie.
Absolutely did.
Okay, nightmares, night terrors, what's the difference, Kimberley?
Well, basically, night terrors are more likely to happen earlier in the night. Same with sleepwalking, when kids aren't in a deep REM sleep, and nightmares generally happen later in the evening, even before kids are waking in the morning.
Okay, let's look at nightmares first, because, you know, I'm astounded that 20% of children have nightmares.
Yes. It's more common than night terrors. It's usually around 5% of kids that will have night terrors.
And school-aged kids. Is there an age difference between night terrors and nightmares?
Yes, generally night terrors happen for kids aged, say, 2 to 6 years, and then nightmares happen more often in school-aged kids. Night terrors are generally more scary because kids have got their eyes open, and parents tend to get really scared because they think, you know, something's in the room. So parents need to be really aware of their own reactions to nightmares or night terrors as well.
Okay, Jamie. Jamie. Jamie's our executive producer. Jamie, have you had experiences with nightmares?
With nightmares, younger ones, which are 4 and 2, boy and a girl, they will wake up, let's say, once a week at around about 2 o'clock in the morning, and it will be a nightmare, and it'll be like a dad, dad, dad. It's always dad. Dad, 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 dad. You run in. And I always like to know what it is, you know, to ask them what actually has happened.
Oh, you're such a practical
I know. But
okay, can we just establish a 2 and a 4-year-old, they're night terrors or nightmares, do you think?
That sounds like it's more likely to be nightmares because they're asleep and they wake themselves up, whereas night terrors is when parents go in, the kids are still freaking out, even thrashing around.
No, they calm down.
Yeah, so
they calm down. And if I ask them what it is, it's normally about something that's precious to them being taken away. Like around Easter time, my little boy woke up a couple of times, he's like, so my eggs, somebody's taken my eggs, you know, and my daughter's normally a teddy bear's been taken away from her.
Okay. So there usually is a bit of a thread of reality in the dream as well. So maybe looking at the fact that they feel like something's going to be taken from them and they need to have their own toys in their own space in the home. Or possibly there's another thread around like going to school, or it could be fear.
So there's a trigger in most of this.
In real life, that's right.
So how do you identify the triggers then?
I think it's important to talk about what happened in the dream the next day generally, to try and find out whether the kids have a real life fear and whether you can minimise that fear.
So as Jamie mentioned, you said you identified what the fear was.
Yeah,
so you'll
have
your kids talk to you about the issue. Is that the right thing to do?
Yeah, it is, because it sort of puts the issue out there rather than them keeping it inside and then not talking about it.
But you do it as soon as they've woken up and you've calmed them down.
Is that a good way to do it?
Well, I'd say sometimes it's better to do it the next morning. Yeah. Because if you do it the same night, sometimes that'll, you know, increase the anxiety and kids can't get that image out of their head. And
about picking them up and putting them straight in your own bed, I mean, to calm them down, is that a negative or a positive? Should you just leave them back in their bed and calm them down? I think
that's a good point. I had my own 2-year-old in my bed last night, and sometimes it's great at the time. It sort of calms them down. And that's
well, you had to get some sleep to get up this morning. So
that's it.
But that's the same as every parent. So we look, clearing the objects around the child, turn on a light, speak firmly to a child who is awake. So comfort the child and try to settle them. Yes. That's correct. That's good. Taking them into the bed could lead to some bad habits.
Bad habits, Karri,
I think
generally.
So too. And then you don't get to sleep because they boot you all night long.
That's right.
The worst thing than the boot is that little soft hand. You think it's a spider when you're out.
Can I just, this is an email. This is from Jan, and thank you very much. This is a really good one here. Jan says she suffered night terrors since she was about 8 years of age. She's now 53. She now realises, after investing in a touch lamp, that I can reach out and get the light on very quickly and enables me to deal with the experience. This is now a 53-year-old Jan. What's your view on this?
That's quite unusual for someone at the age of 53 to still be having night terrors. So it's just a very small percentage of people that would happen to. But Jan mentions the touch lamp, and it is really important to have a night ritual before bedtime. So, you know, the lamps, talking about having pillows surrounding the child so they're feeling really comfortable.
So if your kids are suffering, this is the ritual. Jamie, as you look at these, is this something that you do?
No, we have a pretty set ritual in putting your kids to bed, and I think anyone would say they do. If they have young children, getting them to bed, they need a really clear structure, because it's very hard to get kids to calm down sometimes. And that makes a heck of a lot of sense. Having a night light on, what do you think?
I think it's good. It can be a habit-forming thing as well, but I think in the long term it's a good thing. The whole family needs to get more sleep, and if that means having a light on, that's fine.
This is one which is not related to night terrors and nightmares, but it's sleepwalking, from Diane. Could you include sleepwalking in your night terror story and discussion? My 5-year-old son sleepwalks. We have stairs, which he walks down, and it frightens me.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's a good idea to invest in some barriers for the staircase, because kids can easily fall when they're sleepwalking, because they're half awake.
But if it's a whole staircase, it's pretty
asleep.
difficult. How can she deal with a sleepwalker?
I think it's very important to try and wake the sleepwalker, or to lead them back to their bed.
To wake them?
Yeah, if you can.
Really? I thought it was always a bad thing to do, to wake people that are sleepwalking.
Well, it's usually in the early part of the night, like night terrors, so they're half awake and half asleep. So you can try and rouse them and see if you can get them to wake up. Most of the time they're quite disorientated, so leading them back to bed and keeping them safe.
Do we know why people sleepwalk?
No, there's no known cause for night terrors or sleepwalking. So, yeah, it's quite unknown.
But normally it is something people grow out of.
This is true, yeah.
Did you grow out of it?
No.
Do you still have a little bit of a walk?
Oh, occasionally.
Just a bit of a wander.
So, the information here, night terrors is a younger 2 to 6-year-old, nightmares a little older.
Yes.
So the important hit points for parents here, because boy, this is the whole family with a child screaming, hard to get up, sleep deprivation, hit points, absolute essentials.
Yes, so don't medicate your child. This is a phase.
Oh, no drugs for the kids. Okay, go figure.
Go back to sleep.
That's right. They will move through it. It's normal, and it's a phase. Develop that sort of roster between your partner and yourself, so that one's getting up one night, one's getting up the next night. So
have the bedtime ritual.
That's right. So parents
and if and when they wake up, you must comfort them, try and soothe them, get back to sleep, and try and identify what, as Jamie points out.
Actually giving them the nightmares and maybe take it out of the picture, especially if it's like the monster under the bed thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just show them nothing under there.
Investigate. Yeah.
Okay. Is this hereditary? Any of these
things?
Yeah,
it does tend to run in the family. So ask about aunts and uncles, anyone else that's experienced it, and just normalise it within the family so kids feel they're not alone.
A lot of this information Kimberley's kindly fed us this morning. Just go to the website mornings/ into 9MSN. I hope that's helpful to you, Kimberley. Thank you very much.
That's good stuff. Good stuff.
Yeah, I hope you've learned something, Jen.
Sure, yeah. Do what you can.
Okay, do you sleepwalk?
No, never have sleepwalk. My wife does. You're going to hate this. She gets up and she puts clothes on, just gets up, puts a pair of undies on,
nice.
Puts her tracksuit pants on, comes back to bed. Only once every couple of weeks.
Gee, I wonder what that means.
I don't know.
Well,
what is that? What do you say?
Sit back, be mesmerised by how many ways you can use a ladder.
The last time Paul Meyer was here with the Transformer ladder, I didn't get a word in. So why should today be any different?